So, hi everybody, I'm Marie.Jenkins, and this is my episode of The Secret Diary of Marie.Jenkins. And today's interview goes out for our Wellbeing Week, and we've got Livia with us. Hi, Livia, thank you for joining me.
Hello, nice to see you.
And you. And you're looking absolutely stunning
Thank you.
today.
Trying to make an impression.
Absolutely. So for those people that are listening on the podcast, Livia looks absolutely stunning in a fabulous blue dress today.
Thank
With
you.
her glamorous earrings in. She looks absolutely stunning. So Livia, tell me who you are and what is it that you do?
Right, my name is Livia Whittall and I'm a paper flower artist. I've got a business called Loolas Treasures. And so basically I make paper flower art. I create paper flowers and put them in a frame, make a little personalized gift by them, or just make crap paper flower bunches. I don't think that's paper flower related, really. I can make. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
I mean, we originally met at Win, and we're going to talk a bit more about that later,
Yeah.
which is it was a networking event pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit more about that then, because that's where I saw your beautiful pieces of art, and I thought, oh, I need to know who Livia is, and since then I've been following you on social media and seeing all the lovely creations you did for Mother's Day and for Easter, and really fantastic. But I know behind all the positive things that are going on now, you've also got a well-being story. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, I have had a long standing issue with mental health, I suppose. It started a long time ago. When I first had my son, that's when it started. Which at the time I wasn't actually aware of what it was. I just thought that was just overwhelmed. And I remember sitting with the midwife and telling her that I'm here with you, but the person inside, it's not me. I felt different. I just didn't feel it. It's me. It's like an alien set in my body. But that was just kind of pushed aside. We never had any conversation about it or pursued any further. And I just got on with life as you do, thinking that that's how I'm going to feel from now on, basically. But when I had my daughter 2 years later, that's when it's really escalated. To a point that I would be hiding under the dining room table while the children in the front room fighting, arguing, doing whatever. I mean, my daughter was, a baby then, but I would be just crying and crying. And I think she was about 18 months when, by the time I was just really ill, I stopped eating. I wasn't focusing on anything really. I just wanted all to end. I was quite happy just to give my children away because I just couldn't cope anymore. Of course, when my husband came home, I was all that wife and I cooked the dinner and everything was done. And I haven't really spoken to him about how I was at the time.
Yeah.
But one day I was really, really bad, and I remember lying on the floor and just crying, and I just thought, this is not normal, this is not how it should be. And I remember I had a book given to me by the midwife. I think it was when I had my son at Origin, and I read up on it, and that's where it said about postnatal depression.
Ah.
Yeah, and then I looked at the symptoms and I literally had every single one of the symptoms that it said there. And then I knew straight away that that's what I've got and
Yeah.
it isn't normal. So I phoned the GP and, they put me on medication and then it was sorted. So I was better for many years to come after that. Yeah.
Wow, wow. And you hear about it on the news about sort of postnatal depression, but it sounds like you really had got, an acute form
Yes,
of postnatal
but I
depression.
think it was because it was a year after year. So I suppose if we recognize it the first time I had my son, it wouldn't have come to this point. And even nowadays, if I see young mothers, I actually recognize the signs. And, you know, at work, when I was working for a company, when people went on maternity leave and come back, I recognize the signs. So I guided them basically, and then they were grateful that actually, yes, you were right, because just feeling low and crying and crying and crying, and that's the first thing really, that it's that you're just so emotional and it's not right.
Wow. And how many years ago was that? When was your son born, when it first started then? How many years are we talking?
Well, so my son was born in 2004, my daughter is 2007, so I probably was diagnosed about 2009, 2010, around that time. And then I was on medication for many years, but then I think it's kind of hormonal as well in a little bit, and I got really really well, and I didn't have to take the medication, and for many years I was going without it until 2015.
And what happened then?
My marriage broke up in 2015, and as everybody knows, when a marriage breaks up, it's very, very difficult. And I've suddenly been left with 2 children, living in a little flat, working full time, managing school runs, and of course my son was getting into a teenager as well. So it was just a really, really hard time, and that's, again, it's escalated over the years really, and probably the last 18 months when I have recovered, but I was financially struggling, obviously, because I was a single mother. Although I was working full time, but I had things just really, really got on top of me. Having pressure from my ex, pressure from people around me, how I should be living, the financial difficulties, and everything is just literally just piled and piled and piled until I literally broke. When first time ever in my life, I have decided I'm going to take my own life, because that's the thing that I thought, excuse me, it still feels a bit emotional talking about it.
Absolutely. And I know completely where you're at, because I also had mental health, as a lot of people are already aware, and I got to that point, so I can totally empathise your position. Yeah. So how did you get from there? What happened?
Literally, as I was sitting in the bath ready to do the deed, I suppose, I had an out of body experience, or that's what I can call it. It's like myself started talking to myself, and it was really, really weird. Literally, the question just was, just look at yourself, what you have achieved. You know, I was 19 when I came to this country. I haven't spoke a word of English. You know, I came to learn English. Then, you know, got married, had children, but I have built a life all by myself, really. And I just thought, look at yourself, what you achieved. You know, you're a fighter. You can't just give up. And it felt like I'm slapping myself, you know, literally felt like I gave myself a big slap to, come on, snap out of it. And I know how low I was. I can still feel that feeling. I was drained and defeated, basically. And but out of that moment, as I was ready to die, I was reborn. I literally reborn there and then, and I've gone upstairs and got into bed, middle of the afternoon it was, and I just hit up Facebook, and there was a job for cleaner wanted, and I thought, oh yeah, that will keep
Ah,
me down. So I gave up my job, and I just started working as a cleaner to start with. And then of course I got into paper flower because of my depression, because that was just going to somewhere that I could switch off. My brain didn't have to concentrate on anything else, just making flowers. And that's what I wanted to do at the time, just to become a flower artist, a paper flower artist. But obviously having responsibilities for 2 children, I couldn't make the living just suddenly like that, because I decided I want to make paper flowers. So I had to find another income,
yeah.
which I did with the cleaning. But now I have the chance to focus on my flowers and build on it, really. And the last 2 years I have been working really hard to establish myself as a paper flower artist. And you can probably tell following me that from the basic flowers 2 years ago, I'm actually I came such a long way. My skill set has increased and developed so much, and I just love making the flowers. It's really just such a joy to do.
They are so beautiful. And when you look at your pictures on Instagram, I think, are they real? Because they're just so beautiful, and what a fantastic way. And I completely understand about using sort of creative ways of helping you, improve your mental health. I completely get that. I mean, I went to a number of community workshops with Mind myself, and we did a lot of creativity activities, and you're absolutely right. It just helps you focus on what you're doing and empty your mind of all the other things. And wow, it's really positive. Something's really positive coming out of it. But so how do you now maintain positive well-being? You said sort of at 18 months you've been a lot better. How do you maintain?
It's going to sound funny, but I actually look myself in the mirror every morning and I say to myself, you are beautiful, you are absolutely amazing, and I am so proud of you, what you have achieved. And I do that without a fail, even on the days when I wake up and you just naturally feel low and you don't want to feel positive, but I still do that because that's just focuses my mind on the good. And I also journal a lot. I I have been journaling since I was a teenager. So I every day without the fail, I will I've got a pile like this full of journals full of writing. Probably most of the time I can't even read my writing, but it just helps me. Even if I just do 1 page a day without a fail, I will just do 1 page a day, because that helps me as well, just getting all the bad out of my head and focus on the good straight away.
Absolutely, and that's the key thing, isn't it? Is the more you look for the positive, the more likely you are to find the
Indeed.
positive. Like you explained about that, the job of finding a cleaner job.
Yes.
Once you'd made that recognition to actually be
Indeed.
positive, then good things happen. So
100%. Yeah,
yeah,
that's how it is. So every day, yesterday I was sitting in the traffic. It was half an hour, literally didn't move anywhere. And I could see all the drivers being agitated around me. And I just sat there. I was looking at the tree thinking, wow, this willow tree is just coming into blossom, how beautiful it is. So you just find something to focus your mind on that actually makes you feel good and happy, instead of concentrating and getting angry and impatient when there is no point for that. That just creates negativity. So focus on the positive always.
yeah. And mindfulness can, you just gave a fantastic example of mindfulness about sitting in the car and
Yeah.
sort of just recognizing the positive
Yeah.
things around you, like the beautiful blossom and those sort of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
good for you. And I totally get what you say about journal writing as well. It just shows me that you're such a creative person.
Yeah, I am. Sometimes I think there is no end to my creativity. It's just, but then again, that's determination. I think anybody can be creative, and anybody can do whatever they've set their mind to, as long as you're determined to try. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that. It's everything is possible.
I totally agree. Totally agree. So you make flowers, but I also believe you do. Do you do creativity classes as well? And
Yes, I have done a few before because of my time limited, and I wasn't confident enough in myself. But pushing forward, coming this year, this is something on my agenda. So yes, I did a little creative workshop with the pearls, which was through Zoom during the lockdown, and you didn't take part in that because you didn't feel creative enough on that day. But yes, we all made a little paper flower, which I sent out the template, and we all had to cut out the petals and assemble it, and that was a really good evening. I've also done before lockdown, that was an after school club or a youth club, I think it was, locally, and we were making Mother's Day gifts. Little frames, and then the children, I had loads of paper flowers made for them and cut out so they could just assemble their gifts. And oh, that was so scary at first because all the children, they just wanted to go, and it's like, no, I can't do it, 20 kids at the same time, but they were absolutely amazing. And there was a little boy who was like, well, I'd never made flowers before, or I'm not very creative, but he took it so much into his stride, and I showed them how to make just a simple cutout flower, and he was so impressed within himself that how, and proud how he made it, and he's managed to make, and he's made a lovely gift for his mum. And that was just so rewarding, just to see, especially that little boy who had no confidence whatsoever to make flowers, and then how proud he become just to achieve that little thing. Yeah,
I remember Malvern Pearl's evening, and it was just amazing because everybody had chosen different types of colours and materials to use, and
yeah,
everyone was different, but they was all absolutely fabulous. And it's great because you can do that with pretty much any age group.
yes, well, almost, yeah. I think eight plus really, when you can start, because you need some kind of skill set or understanding really, but any paper, and it's really easy, just a pair of scissors, maybe a little glue, and then on your way. So it's not difficult.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I mentioned earlier about Win. So tell me a bit about, because I obviously know about what happens when I came and met you at Win, but can you tell us a bit more about how that worked and what it was all involving?
Yeah, that was kind of one of those things when you start thinking the good comes to you, and literally a few days after my breakdown, let's call it that, I have met somebody who said, oh, there's this postcard competition going on for Win. Have you heard of it? And I was like, I don't even know what Win is. And he explained that it's Worcestershire Innovations, and then they got a postcard competition so that they can print their next year events on the postcard, and they're looking for someone to design their front cover. And I just thought, oh yeah, why not? I'll go for it. And I read the criteria, and I was like, oh, you had to write 500 words about your art while you're creating it. And I was like, oh my God, I have to write it in English. It's just, I'm not going to do this. It's too much. I can't do it. I can't write in English. And then I thought, oh, it doesn't matter. It's the art that it matters. And then you just, they're not going to see if you spell everything right. Although my English is really good, even the writing one, but it somehow just scared me that I have to write about it because I can't write about it. But I've managed to do it. I've created the art, which is behind me. Do you want me to show it?
Yeah, please.
So I've created this board.
Wow.
On a canvas. And there is over 500 handmade paper flowers are on there. So little roses.
So that was the original piece
That's
that you did for the
the
photography?
original piece. That's exactly the original piece. Yes.
Oh wow,
So
that's
I chose
incredible.
the blue, and so the concept behind was obviously mental health. And I chose the blue because blue is calming. So I don't do color therapy, but we all know, looking at the water, the sound effects of the water, the color of the water, and even the sky makes you feel calmer, and you know your mind is in a better place straight away. And also with the orange, so these are water lilies. In the shape of water lilies, these are. So because orange is vibrant, so it gives you energy, you know, it makes you feel again fired up and happier. And then green, I love green, but also the green has the calming effect. And there's a little bit of red as well in there, because all these colors, when you look at it, this is a vibrant picture. Straight away it makes you feel warm and excited and happy and puts you in a positive mental frame immediately. So basically that was my concept behind the art. And obviously in the 500 words I have written down my struggle that I have just been
Right.
talking to you about, and that with my art I want to carry on, and not just and I'm not focusing on helping people with this, but I'm highlighting that, you know, it is actually a really good way just to focus your mind. And any art, even just drawing, doodling, doing whatever, it will focus your mind and just gives you that break. For, you know, when I do the flowers, I can be sitting here for 4 hours and I don't even realize that the 4 hours have gone. It's literally and it's really, really good just to switch your brain off, to give you a break for it. How many long? 10 minutes,
Yeah.
2 hours, whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one of the other things that we did at Malvern Pearl, which for those people that are listening is a networking group by Esther Partridge Warner. And we've been virtual, but we also had a fantastic art session with Susan Berth, who's also a Worcestershire-based artist. And it was just fantastic. We did the scenes of Worcestershire Cathedral, and she really helped us sort of have an escapism, if you like. And yeah, I completely get where art, in many of its different forms, can help with well-being. I totally get that. But so you went, you submitted your application, and what
Yes.
happened next?
Well, even then, I had the confidence to tell myself that you're going to win this, because why wouldn't you? That was my answer. Why wouldn't I win it? And to my surprise, I have actually won the competition. And there were so many artists, beautiful art, and I was, although I have told myself that I'm going to win this, I was so surprised, especially after looking at all the art that was presented. But it just gave me such a boost. Everything, you know, is working out well for you.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I remember you gave a fantastic talk as well, and I just thought, you know, when you told your story on stage, I thought, wow, what a brave and strong woman you really are. So fair play to
That was
you,
really
fair play to
scary.
you. So can you recall a time that's been most rewarding for you?
Well, yeah, I suppose, as I mentioned earlier on, when I was with the children,
Yeah.
and doing the youth club, that was just. I always love working with children anyway, and I haven't for years. And then just going back into that environment, it's their enthusiasm. It gives you such a buzz that, you know, they believe in themselves without any question, really. They just know that they can do anything. And it's later in the life, when all the external influences are coming in, that's when children start becoming really less confident, I suppose. But yeah, that was just so rewarding. The little boy, as I mentioned earlier on, for finding his creativeness, and I just loved, yeah, I loved that time.
It's nice. I completely understand, working with children. It's well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Is nurturing them, for they're our next generation. So yeah, fantastic. And you've alluded to about, like, you're not originally from the UK and that you had to learn how to write English. Out of interest, where's your accent from?
I'm Hungarian. I was born in Hungary.
Oh
Yes,
wow, okay.
I came to England, as I said earlier, when I was 19, and literally I didn't speak any word of English. I did learn back in school in Hungary, but as you all know, when you are just learning in school, your skills are really non-existent. So yeah, all I could say what was my name and where I was from, and yeah.
That
But
is
within 6 months,
amazing.
I always say after 6 months they couldn't have sell me to anyone. I would have known what's going on.
And have you still got family in Hungary?
Yeah, all my family is back in Hungary. Yeah.
Oh, so how does it work? Have you been able to do Zoom calls and things with your family during the pandemic?
Yeah, we do messenger calls normally, and because you can create a little group on Messenger. So I've got a sister and my parents, my nephews. So I had my birthday in January, so we all had a party. I
You
had all the
did,
balloons and the cake
did
and
you?
alcohol.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic. It's technology has enabled us, hasn't it, to still be able to connect those in other places. So yeah, it's
indeed.
been fantastic, really. So tell me a bit more about who inspires you, Livia?
Well, you inspire me. You know, you you have achieved so much, as you said as well, and I know you had issues with mental health, so that's an inspiration that you are where you are. You're successful, you're doing great. Women in general inspire me, to be fair, because look at us, we have evolved so much over the hundreds of years. Where we started, where we couldn't even get education, to now where we're running our own businesses and making our own choices. Going to Pearls Networking just highlights it all, and all the ladies in there are absolutely amazing. So that's enough inspiration for me to take, just looking at other women, what they achieve, and knowing that, just carry on, because you can achieve that as well. And it might take you 5 years, it might take you 5 months, you just don't know, but you will get there, because you can see all the people around you that they are getting there.
Yeah, totally agree. And although we're recording this, sort of, I'm recording it today and it'll go out next week. So when people are listening to this, there'd have been More Than Pearls, which is going to be tonight on a Thursday. And I think is it Sarah Grout from Leonard Cheshire Trust.
Yes.
So, because normally what happens is you normally have a guest speaking slot and you have a charity slot, don't you? So you can always learn from other business women, which is a fantastic part of that group.
Indeed, yeah, you can take little snippets of success and how they got there, and you can implement it in your business, or just within just your confidence, because sometimes all it takes is listening to somebody and and you going through that they have already been through, and it just gives you the confidence that actually you are doing right, you're on the right path.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll have a fantastic evening tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Now, I know people will really love to go and see your flowers on Instagram. How do they find you on Instagram?
It's Loolas Treasures, which is Loola, and Treasures, which is all in one word. So
Okay.
you will be able to find me on Instagram. It's the same for Facebook as well. So all my social media is under Loolas Treasures. And then you can send me messages from there if you wish to.
Fantastic. So they can either put in some order for some flowers, or they could potentially book you for a creativity workshop.
Anything, yeah, that's right, yes. Which I would absolutely love to. And then also what I really want to get into is charities right now. So to do flower making sessions, and then I could donate most of the money to charities. So, you know, any charities interested in fundraising, it's a really easy and calming and really nice way to raise money, really.
What a clever idea. What a clever idea. That's a fantastic idea. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Livia. Thank you so much for being so open and candid about your story. And like I said at the beginning, you look absolutely amazing. So I think you're a massive inspiration for anybody who's, at the moment thinking they're not feeling great. But if they can find somebody that they can get some inspiration from, I think you're a massive shining light of that example. So fair play, and I wish you every success with Loolas Treasures.
Thank you. That's great, Marie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Livia. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.